To talk more about this, I'm joined by Dr. Andile Dube, South Africa's education specialist at Unicef. Dr. Dube, good evening to you and welcome. Periods and menstruation have been with us since time immemorial. And yet here we are in 2022 asking the question, what are some of these outdated, backward and damaging menstrual myths still in the world?
Good evening, Iman, and good evening to your viewers. Indeed, it takes me back to many years ago when I was still a young girl with all the challenges that are around menstruation, which is supposed to be a good day or a good day for a young person who's getting into puberty, but it is really one of the most stigmatized periods for young girls. It is a challenge for girls, particularly girls in the rural and in the poor environment, who are stigmatized when they are receiving their menstruation, who are taught all wrong messages. I remember when I was a young girl, we were told that if you are menstruating, don't talk to boys, you will get pregnant. So today, I think it becomes a day where we remind everyone around the normality of menstruation, and we get all the people in South Africa, particularly boys and men, to support girls as they get into the stage of their life. Menstruation should be really treated as normal.
And I want to stay with that theme just a little bit longer. Sometimes, we might just giggle or, chuckle and shake our heads in disbelief that people still hold such anachronistic beliefs about menstruation. And, for many people in society, the connection between some of the restrictions that religion imposes around menstrual, women that are menstruating seems to almost in a way feed into the narrative of, kind of like exceptionalism or something being wrong when women are menstruating. Just break down some of those messages for everyone who is listening about how normal menstruation is and how it should be treated and received in society.
Very normal. Every month a girl will receive their menstruation, and society and anyone who is next to that, the young person will never be affected. A person should still be allowed to go to school. A young girl should still be allowed to go to a church or any other religious platform. A young person who is receiving their menstruation should still be able to interact with everyone in society, with their community and their families. We know that some families go to the extent of asking the girl to sit in their room or in one room with other girls when they are receiving their periods and not even be allowed to go outside. Another big myth. It is a myth that if you go to a church and your prayers might not be received in the same way, because of course this is a natural phenomenon, and this is a part of how everyone is created, particularly the girls who have to go through that. And yes, young girls, you are not going to get pregnant just by talking to a young man or a boy. And yes, young girls, you are not going to get pregnant if you interact or smile or laugh or play with other people at the school. All that needs to be done is that all support is provided for young girls as they go through menstruation at school and in all other gatherings or platforms or institutions that they are interacting in.
And I think it leads quite seamlessly into the next question, which is, what are some of the menstrual health education messages we must share? So, where there is no support for girls who are growing up in a society where some of these outdated beliefs and some of these really oppressive beliefs are dominant, how should they deal with it when it happens?
Girls need support. So firstly, they will need support in schooling. I think we tend to talk to the girls more than we talk to people who need to support the girls. So at school, we need to make sure that girls are provided for. So girls have to have access to infrastructure that is friendly to girls. So we talk of period-friendly toilets, where we make sure that as they go through the process, they can go to the toilets and be safe, and they have light, and it is locked. They've got places where they can dispose of their pads. They are supported when they have menstrual cramps, which is a pain for some of the girls. In fact, some of the evidence shows that some girls actually are likely not to attend school or go to school when they're receiving their periods for a number of reasons. Either it is pain, or they are stigmatized in school, or there are other reasons related to that. So we really want to make sure that girls feel comfortable when they are receiving their periods and they are able to access school because it's a right and they need school to transit. The second issue is at a home, we need girls to also be supported by their parents, by their brothers, by their friends, by their dads, and everyone who is in the household to help them understand this shifts, particularly the young girls who are receiving periods for the first time. They need to understand what is happening to them. They need to understand what is happening to their bodies. Of course, the system has provided for that in the curriculum, but there's much, much more that needs to be done at community level and at home level. Lastly, we want to make sure that girls actually are not stigmatized in ways that are really, really depressing to them. Some go through mental health issues during the time of their periods. They do not know what is happening, and we really want them to be supported when they go through this normal period of their life. We also want them to have access to the products. So they want them to have access to pads. We want them to actually, when they do not have access, be able to get someone at that school to go and talk to and get a pad, or talk to someone who is a friend who can support them when they have to receive the product. Girls, wherever you're sitting, it shouldn't be you and you alone. It is a normal process. It is a process that you need to be talking to someone. And when you feel like you do not have someone to talk to, we're always there to talk to you guys. We also have lines in South Africa where girls can be supported through that. But all schools are capable of supporting the girls when they go through their periods.
I mean, really wonderful advice that you're sharing with us there. And I really hope that, because it is a social issue, even though it is a deeply personal issue, it affects the young woman who is experiencing it and going through it. But it needs every layer of society really to provide, as you say, the support that young girls need to be able to go through this elegantly and beautifully and with confidence, rather than receding to the shadows. But what is key to how they're able to deal with this in a normal way, and for it to be a non-hardship event in their lives, they do need equitable access to menstrual products. We've seen, I think it's 20 countries around the world now that have made free access to young girls in places like schools and elsewhere, to sanitary products, that will assist them. How should governments be accelerating this now, especially here in South Africa?
Yes, South African government has put this at the core of programming for young girls. In school provision is really, really being fast-tracked. We as support structures to government also are opening up possibly all options for access. The Department of Women and Department of Basic Education, supported by the United Nations, Unicef being part of the organization, continues to advocate for ensuring access. So should there be a platform of schools that still experience those limitations, or girls do not have access to pads when they need them, particularly non-fee paying school, those schools need to be able to contact the department or be able to engage at different levels of the education system, and also do reach out. But South Africa is one of those countries that is really pushing between the two departments and the UN being supported to make sure that we understand much more the challenges that are happening. We, through research, we provide through the curriculum, but we also make sure that there's provision of products and there's provision of infrastructure for this period of the girl's life.
Thank you very much for talking to us and for sharing those critical insights. Unicef South Africa's education specialist, Dr. Andile Dube. And please do tune in for a full view panel on period poverty with my colleague Bongiwe Zwane. It happens on Thursday, and we'll be coming to you live from the Noordgesig Secondary School in Johannesburg.